Terence Crawford just said recently, in a post that the fans don't really know about fighters with no names, and they tend to judge guys and call guys bums and they don't think has a name. And a lot of times I've been hearing that recently about certain fighters, and a lot of times when you try to ask people, "Hey, I want to see this guy fight a certain guy," first thing they'll say is, who is he fought? Has he fought anybody with a name? Now, that tends to be somebody who's popular and not because of somebody's skill. A lot of these guys, they'll fight a whole bunch of names that you know, but after a while, once their careers start to go down or start to dwindle down, those guys really ain't never a factor. It's a name, but who they beating? You know what I'm saying? They on a four fight losing streak? So, like, what are we talking about? What type of guys are we talking about? And when in the case of Bakhram, he's a good fighter who's shown that he has the abilities to go to another level. And that's the reason we have fights in boxing. That's the reason why we put these type of fights together. And for Tszyu to go out there and absolutely get demolished by Bakhram with so many knockdowns, it surprises a lot of fans. But to be honest with you, I'm not surprised. I had to actually go back and listen to my prediction. But I had picked Tszyu to win this fight. But in my prediction, I said, man, this dude is huge. This is a big fighter. And I also said that Tszyu needs to take him into deep waters and not try to get a knockout early. Didn't know I said all that. You know what I'm saying? So I basically said a lot of things. It just didn't go the guy's way that I thought. But he did the opposite of what I requested or what I recommended. And a lot of fans just don't understand. Like, that dude Bakhram is huge for 154. I don't know if people know what 154 is, but that guy's an animal. You know what I'm saying? He is an animal. I heard a lot of people compare him to different things, but yeah, he's an animal at that weight class. I've already said that a few times. That's why out of all, it's a lot of fighters I ain't did videos on, or I haven't got around to it, or had the chance to, but he was one of the first guys I made a video about because he's lurking around here and nobody's fighting him. And I've seen him put some fights together where I'm like, okay. Then he had a Jack Koke fight earlier this year that I covered. So I've been covering Bakhram ever since I started this channel. But it just goes to show that Terence Crawford is right, man. A lot of fans don't give certain guys credit. That's why it's hard to really break down resumes. He says this is why you can't listen to these fans. They don't know boxing at all. Just because you never heard of a fighter doesn't mean he's a bum. Now everyone is high on Murtazaliev. Y'all need to stop downing fighters just because y'all don't pay attention to them. And that's facts. And I say that every day. Every day. I got videos of Bakhram on my channel from last year. He's right about that. Man, people be capping out here when it comes to boxing. All that debating and yelling. And they be talking about some old news. You be yelling about some old news. I be like, man, that's insane. Ain't that crazy? Everybody find out history at a different time, but dang. I mean, they be down the people who cover it every day. That'd be crazy to me. Yeah, man, this dude, that's why I was wondering at 54, I'm like, so who? So he became mandatory, but he wasn't a choice for undisputed fight or something? Like, what's going on? And I know he didn't have a belt at the time, but he couldn't fight for the belt though. He was still the mandatory for Charlo way before Tszyu. And if you notice, a lot of people was mentioning Tszyu as a mandatory in the media, but they never mentioned Bakhram. They knew he was getting step aside and everything, but they never mentioned him as a guy who deserved a mandatory like they was requested for Tszyu.